Hello, this is wmpyr, and tonight I am wearing my Dracula t-shirt, so check it out. Boom, boom, boom. How cool is that? Oh yeah. So anyway, I'm wearing this because I want to do a review for you guys right here. This is the Dracula Complete Legacy Collection. In the back it says all 6 films from the legacy of the original Dracula. Technically, there's 7 films because this also includes the 1931 Spanish version of Dracula. I'm so glad that they put it in here. Yeah, I'm so glad that they put that in here because there are some differences. And anyway, so recently I saw all of these movies on here, and boy, it was great because it takes you back in time. It's not just about these movies. It's also about the era that they were filmed in. So it makes me think about that kind of stuff. It makes me appreciate how things are different from today and how things had to progress to the way things are now. So within this collection, you could actually see at first in the first classic Dracula film, the way they did their special effects. I can't even really call them special effects. And then they start to add a little bit of special effects as the years go by, and you can see the difference in change. And then of course we have today's stuff, which CGI and stuff like that. But you could see all that, and it's really cool. If you think about those things, then you will appreciate the movie more. Because if you just look at these older films and just compare it to the new stuff, and it would be so easy to dismiss it as inferior. Oh, it's not as good. But if you think about the times that it was filmed in and what they had to work with and stuff like that, and how this was completely new and groundbreaking at the time, if you think about all that, then you can really appreciate these movies, and that's how it was for me. It's if you can appreciate history, then these films I think are cool, especially if you like the Dracula stuff, for sure. So anyway, where should I start with? I guess the first one, Dracula. I mean, this is 1931. It was made in the 30s. And then the newest film here is Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, which is 1948. So, I mean, all this is pre-50s. I mean, that is way before my time, actually. So, yeah, it just takes me back to another era. And, like, these are horror films. Maybe the Abbott and Costello is kind of not, but the rest these are horror films, yet I could pretty much watch these movies while I'm eating because it's not bloody, it's not gory, and to make a horror film today and there's no blood and no gore, does anyone do that today? I don't think so. I don't think so. So that alone makes this so fascinating and interesting to me. So the 1931 version of Dracula, of course, is the most famous, and I've seen it many times and enjoy it. If you compare it to Nosferatu, the black and white, also black and white silent movie, I think it just makes it that much cooler if you make the comparisons there and see the differences and stuff. And then the next one is Dracula's Daughter. I was really impressed with this. I actually like it more than the 1931 version, the classic Dracula. I like it more than this, which is it sounds blasphemous, but it's just my opinion. I like the simplicity of it, and even though it was simple, it had some very memorable scenes. The classic Dracula is, because it comes from a novel, there's some parts it just seems a little too complex, the story, to put it onto film. You're going to have stuff missing. There's going to be some parts that are a little boring. So compared to that, I think Dracula's Daughter just worked better. It may seem a little rushed, but I didn't take it as that. I took it as it's simplified. So I enjoyed the simplicity once again. House of Frankenstein. When I first started watching it, it just threw me off. There were a lot of things about it that I was going, what? This, I don't know about this one. But after seeing a few reviews on YouTube, I've come to appreciate it, and I really, really enjoyed it actually, and I look forward to seeing it again and again. And to me, those are kind of like the best videos on YouTube that for movie reviews, that they teach you how to appreciate something, how to appreciate the movie. So hopefully this in this video, I'd like to kind of do the same thing. Is not just to say, oh, this, I'll give it 2 thumbs up, or don't buy it, or just not just here to just give it a rating, but actually to quickly show you how to appreciate this kind of film. So Son of Dracula, and I agree with the one YouTuber, I forgot who it was, but he said that this is incorrectly titled, that it should have been called Bride of Dracula. I 100% agree, because the bride steals the show, essentially. She makes Dracula look like a chump, so that's very, very cool. The next one is House of Frankenstein. House of Frankenstein, I didn't really like as much. Out of all the movies here, for me, it was honestly the weakest, just because I don't really want to see a love triangle between the Wolfman, the Hunchback, and a Gypsy girl. That's just not my kind of movie. That story is just not as interesting for me. The next one here is House of Dracula. Now this one I really, really liked. And it sounds similar to House of Frankenstein, but the story is totally different. They are related together, so it's good to watch both of them back to back. But House of Dracula was much, much cooler. The story is, I can't do a full review here because we're going to run out of time, but it was much more interesting for me story-wise. And there is a female hunchback, so that alone is like, wow, it's just something you don't see, so you should check it out. And then of course we have Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. Yeah, the sense of humor of back then and today is definitely some things to me don't translate well, or maybe it's just me, but it's still always interesting to see that kind of thing. And I don't know, I still thought they did a really, really good job. The humor didn't hurt or distract so much from the horror part, and the horror part to me was still able to be solid. So that's why this to me ranks higher than House of Frankenstein on this list, and I really, really liked it. And the Spanish version of Dracula is just so cool, just to watch that and watch it back to back with the original Dracula, the classic Dracula, or should I say the US version of Dracula. Watch it together and see the differences. It's really cool, I think, to do that. Now, I went with this one instead of the Frankenstein legacy. Don't get me wrong, I really like Frankenstein also. Don't think that I just went with Dracula just because, oh, it's vampire. Vampire likes vampires, he's going to go with Dracula. No, it wasn't that. I really like Dracula. I really like Frankenstein, or Frankenstein's monster. I like both of them a lot. It's just that I do feel like I could relate a little bit closer to the Dracula character more than the Frankenstein character. So I prefer the Dracula. And then once I got this, some of the movies on here are also on the Frankenstein Legacy collection. So if not, I would have bought them both. But because they kind of like overlap, I just went with the Dracula, and I probably won't be getting the Frankenstein Legacy. So anyway, that's it for now. Thank you for watching, and take care, folks.